This week on High Octane, the Super Bowl of Superbike. All the world's best road racers are flying to Laguna Seca Raceway for their one and only competition in the U.S. If these guys had wings, they'd be airborne. We'll take a look at the top American Superbike contenders, the brothers Bostrom, while they prepare for a little sibling rivalry. We'll also profile extreme street stuntman Gary Rothwell as he lays down the rubber for the fans at Laguna. Then crank it up as the band Bouncing Souls brings you backstage. All this and the Umbrella Girls too, coming up on High Octane. Mazda Raceway at Laguna Seca has long been considered an almost sacred site. For one weekend only, the AMA US Superbike Championships and the SBK World Superbike Championships appeared together here in what has become known as the Super Bowl of Superbike. One rider to watch out for is this guy on the Ducati, number 155, Ben Bostrom. This is the World Superbike Championship's only stop in the United States, and Bostrom, one of the few American racers in this series, plans to put in a good showing for the U.S. fans. To make things even more interesting, he'll also be competing against his brother Eric. Eric Bostrom, who normally rides in the U.S. Superbike Series, has decided to step it up this weekend and take a stab at the big boys in the World Championships. It could come down to a friendly fight between the brothers Bostrom. Let's meet Eric Bostrom. Riding for Team Kawasaki, Eric Bostrom, who competes in both the 600 Supersport and AMA Superbike classes here in the U.S., comes from a race-mad family.
It seems like there's a lot of Bostroms, but there's only two, but they make a lot of noise, so.
Actually, the best thing ever, you know, I have two older brothers, both of them are incredibly talented on bikes, and I've always had somebody to chase, you know, and I guess they've always had somebody to try to beat.
Here at Laguna Seca Raceway, Ben has passed Eric.
Yeah, they never want to be beat by their little brother.
That is, Ben Bostrom has passed Eric Bostrom, and he is now on the tail end of Troy Bayliss on the...
But if anybody's going to beat me, you know, I'd like it to be him.
So, does Eric plan to join his brother Ben on the world circuit?
It's certainly my goal. I want to do it pretty soon, and we're definitely looking at it.
Is he ready to go over there and race it full time? And I think he's real close to it.
I would love it. For me, it'd be the best of everything. I'll be over there, plus I'd have my brother with me, and he's my best friend and my training partner.
Laguna's huge. I'm really hoping to use it as a stepping stone, you know, to make a good impression. Like Ben did a couple years back, to you know, open some eyes on the world scene and you know, look forward to heading over there and mixing it up. So.
I don't know. I don't think he'll be in the AMA too much longer. He's got too much talent.
We definitely both have the same goal, which is to be on top. We've always seemed to just shine on different tracks and have our really different styles. Then in the end, you know, I'll go out and follow them, and we're very close to the same speed and have the same approach. So there's something there. I mean, we're very similar yet very different. Probably the toughest part of road racing is mentally, you know. I know a lot of people watch motocross and the guys are just dead after the race, and sometimes we look like that. Road racing is a game of hitting your apexes and hitting your breaking points.
Eric's first day at Laguna couldn't have been better. First place in the 600 and first in the U.S. Superbike. After a hard day of racing, everyone heads down to Cannery Row in Monterey.
There's about a zillion people out here right now. The group of people that surround this whole event are all awesome. Hospitality, everybody seems to be really good.
They all come down here on Saturday night. We close the street down for just the motorcycle enthusiasts and have a good time.
You know, these are our kind of people, so they're here to have fun, and we're here just to keep the peace.
We were watching the races today, talking to people.
We like Nikki, number 69.
We don't miss it up here every year. Riding the track's sweet. I can't quite go as fast as these guys out there, but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Yeah, you did. You traded your girlfriend, remember?
I would trade my girlfriend for a ride on the track.
Later on, we're going to take you out on the track for a cruise on the world-famous Laguna Raceway. It's called the annual Fan Ride. But before we do that, let's meet Ben Bostrom.
Ben Bostrom?
I have to go with Bostrom.
Bostrom. Ben Bostrom.
Ben Bostrom.
California native Ben Bostrom is definitely a name the fans here at Laguna know and love.
You get you get all the fans and everybody with you, and you feel the energy when you get on the bike. Every time I ride by, I see American flags, and it just kind of gets you pumped up. We're coming home off of a win from Italy, and just kind of excited, you know, to be back on the track with my brother and back in the hometown, home crowd, and just excited, you know. I know Eric's coming off of 3 wins, and I got to go out there and put a lot of pressure on him, and I have to win. I mean, this is my series.
I think he's the guy to beat, man. If we beat Ben, I think we'll be sitting right back here at the middle of the podium.
He's already won his series, so it should be an interesting one tomorrow.
Ben can hardly remember the last time he raced against Eric. Can he hold off his little brother?
Had a pretty big crash about 2 months ago at Monza in the parabolic turn, and planted my shoulder and blew it out the back. I was just losing movement. I had about half the movement. I could only lift my shoulder up.
I went over and visited him for a couple weeks in Italy, and pretty much we went rock climbing every day.
I fell against this rock and it broke the thing back, and I heard a lot of snap, crackling, and I was like, that wasn't good. But the next thing I knew, I was able to lift my arm nearly all the way.
Ben looks the inside of Troy Bayless going into corkscrew.
Thankfully, the shoulder hasn't affected Ben's racing as he brings home more and more American victories from the tough international circuit.
You got to adjust to the traveling, the food, the language barriers, and get used to not being home. You're not home, so you get a little homesick, and you need to really plant yourself and say, this is my job, this is what I'm doing for the next 10 years or whatever, and put your head down and say, I'm racing here to win.
Ben Bostrom has just thrown in the fastest lap of the race. And Ben Bostrom would very much like to get another win here at Laguna.
If I'm not on the bike, I gotta do something scary, you know? Gotta do something thrilling. I just like the rock climb, so it's the biggest thing. And that or sit in a coffee shop and have a nice cup of joe. I'm kind of an extremist. And I go from one extreme to just completely mellow, and it's the way I like to live, and you never know when your day is coming, so you gotta make the best of every day.
When we come back, the Primal Screen with Wrathchild. High Octane powers up the Primal Screen with highlights from the video Wrathchild.
Wrathchild is trying to push the limits in motocross films today. Wrathchild is about changing the way people think about motocross. That's what I live for, to do things differently, to ask what if I tried this, and to not be afraid enough to do it. My name's Troy Adamitis. I'm the director, cinematographer, and editor for Wrathchild. Well, we're at the premiere for Wrathchild. It's tonight. I've been waiting 9 months for this. Pretty soon there's going to be 600 people in this theater, and I'm wondering if they're going to like it or not. If I can get people to scream and yell in the last 10 minutes like I did in the first 20 minutes, then I did my job. My style is to use a lot of my mistakes. I left a lot of camera flashes in, I left a lot of tailouts in. I used some B shots just because I liked the way the camera was shaking at the time. Capitalizing on your mistakes in the editing room and cutting those into the scenes as transitions sometimes works rather well. I have the most respect for the riders. I think that's the thing that I'm always the most worried about when I'm doing these things is how are the riders going to react to this? Am I showing them in the light that they want to be shown in? Look at those case marks right there. Sweet. Those guys, they don't care if the landing's bad, they don't care if the lip's bad, they don't care if their bike's broken. They just want to go out and bust big, you know. Wrathchild is an old Maiden song that's pretty much been their anthem. I've been stuck in this 80 metal phase for like a few years now and I can't get out of it.
Twisted Sister, Judas Priest, Octane, Ozzy, Scorpions, they all rule.
Thinking of a name for a movie is